Moments with Tony Dungy, his wife Lauren Dungy this morning. It's underwritten by Fairfield National Bank.
As a financial advisor, John Reynolds is well versed in the best practices of financial planning. But as a local, raised in Wayne County, he's more than experienced with the unique challenges you face every day. After growing up here, he's now returned, investing back into the community that contributed to his success, passionate and committed to helping you with yours. FNB Asset Management. We're here to help.
This is Uncommon Moments. Here's former Super Bowl winning NFL coach Tony Dungy and his wife Lauren sharing from their book Uncommon Marriage.
Having your wife help you grow as a husband is really valuable. Sometimes I get too focused on the what-ifs, and Lauren shows me not to worry. I'm a better dad and a better husband because of her wisdom. What you don't want to do is say to yourself, I wish my spouse was more like me. I shouldn't think that about my wife or my children or anyone. Instead, we're a team.
Our differences are one reason God brought us together, and we make good decisions when we work through things as husband and wife. I think my perspective helps Tony look at things differently for the better. Together we trust the Lord, knowing He will work all things out.
Tony and Lauren Dungy, authors of Uncommon Marriage, learning about lasting love and overcoming life's obstacles together. Discover more at CoachDungy.com.
Good morning and welcome back to the Vine Morning Show here on this Wednesday morning. I'm Mark, and we welcome those that are tuned in this morning on 105.5 in the Centralia area and 90.9 the Vine. And also, if you're watching our in-studio camera this morning on our website at wvyn.org, good morning and thanks for watching this morning as our live in-studio camera is on, as we have some ladies in the studio with me right now. Let's welcome from the Clay County Health Department, Home Hospice, and Home Health and Hospice. We welcome Gloria Hawkins. Gloria, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in this morning. And you have Amy Meeks. Hello, Amy.
Good morning.
And Gina Rinehart. Amy is from Fairfield and Gina from Louisville. Ladies,
good morning.
Good morning, and thanks for coming in. And Gloria, it's your first visit here on the Vine, right?
Yes.
Thanks for coming in. And tell us a little bit about your position at the Clay County Health Department, the Home Health and Hospice, if you don't mind.
I'm a hospice RN through the Clay County Health Department, and we also work with the Wayne County Health Department for their hospice needs. I do basic hospice care for our patients, and I also help with some of the marketing and provider liaison work. Basically, whatever hat I need to wear for that day.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been in your position? How long have you been a nurse?
I've only been a nurse since 2014. Yes,
oh, wow.
That is right.
Wow.
Yes, my mom actually inspired me. She graduated from nursing school when she was 55.
Okay.
So I always wanted to do nursing and never fit with my lifestyle, but I finally did it. And hospice is why I did it.
Why you did it. What did you do prior to becoming a nurse?
I was an ophthalmic technician that's working with a group of eye surgeons for 10 years.
So this kind of inspired you to get further into the medical field, right?
Yeah, well, I've always had a heart for nursing.
Sure.
I was actually a candy striper at the hospital in the town where we lived. But I just got off track a little bit and, finally was able to get back into the nursing field.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Yes.
There's such a demand for nurses out there, and good for you. That's
Thanks.
right. All right, Gina, what about you? How long have you been with Clay County Home Health and Hospice, and how did you become a nurse?
I have been with Clay County for 25 and a half years. I graduated from Frontier Community College. I then worked at the Clay County Hospital for a year, saw an ad in the paper for home health, thought it sounded interesting, applied, and started my position, loved it, and still there. I have gone from being a home health staff nurse to now the coordinator of home health.
Oh, wow. Well, that's awesome. And, when you work in a hospital environment, did you work in med-surg, ER?
Med-surg, yes.
And, when you go from a hospital environment, and Gloria, we've had this conversation before, when you go from a hospital environment to home health, there's a difference there. You're a big difference. You're dealing with patients in home, and you get to know them, and you really develop a really not only a working relationship with them, but a caring relationship with them as well, right?
Yes, definitely. In my younger days in home health, the patients would call and ask for that little girl.
All right. Yeah. All right.
We've also recruited Gina to help us with our hospice patients. She came and helped me out in a pinch one weekend, and we developed a great bond. And I saw how huge her heart was for hospice patients also.
Mm-hmm.
So takes a unique person to be a hospice nurse, and
Sure.
she uniquely can handle both roles.
Yeah. Well, good. Now, I've got a question for you, too, in a moment, Gloria, but let's welcome Amy. Amy, hi there.
Good morning.
How long, and you're from Fairfield, right?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been a nurse and with Clay County Home Health and Hospice?
I have been a nurse for about 4 years now, and I am actually new to the Clay County Home Health group. I'm very happy to be working with the group. I recently was a long-term care nurse, and then I did a little bit in med-surg. I didn't feel that there was a good rapport with my patients on the med-surg. I wanted more.
Sure.
We always gave great care, but I needed that rapport. I love to help transition them once they get into their homes. I want to make sure that they've got their quality of life, and I feel like I can go in and help them just to get that little bump to get them back to where they need to be.
Right, right. And where did you go to nursing school at?
I went to Frontier.
Frontier. It's such a great nursing school. I know many people that have gone there before.
Yes,
and,
wonderful, wonderful local program.
And it is, and a lot of local nurses have come out of that. And it's when you think of now, where did you work before?
I worked at the hospital here in Fairfield.
At the hospital in Fairfield. And again, let me ask you this question, ladies, and you can all answer this. When you go in, and I think when you're in a hospital environment and you had a chance to go to home health, did you think there was much of a difference? I mean, were you apprehensive about it at first, or was it one of those where I want to make a change? I think this is where I'm being led at this point in my career.
I think I can probably answer that for you, Mark.
Okay.
I definitely loved being in the hospital. I loved taking care of the patients right away, dealing with the direct issues for the day. But you always wonder after that patient goes home. You send them home with a home health referral. You send them home, and you just wonder, how are they doing? We always did follow-up phone calls, but traditionally after that follow-up call, you may not get to see how that patient's really doing 5 or 6 months down the road. Home health, they can always give us a call and say, hey, I got a new medication. Doc didn't have time to explain it, or I can't find what I'm trying to Google. Can you explain something? We can always drop by the house, take a look at it, and just kind of know that peace of mind that we are helping them to learn something. I love to teach, and teaching is a huge, huge, huge thing in home health.
Yeah, that's right. When did hospice come in the scene? How long has it been around, Gloria?
Actually, since the medieval times.
Really?
Yes. It got its start in London, and it was in 1948. Or actually, yes, 48. And it was started by a physician who saw that there was a gap between the person who was in the hospital or in a facility to get better.
Mm-hmm.
But then when there wasn't anything that was going to make them better for this life.
Mm-hmm.
And so they actually started a shelter, a place where people could come and they could rest, and they could just begin to let their life end on this earth. And that is actually where it began. And then it came to the United States in 1963.
Wow.
Started at Yale University. So it has a long history.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've had a family member who was on hospice a few years ago and passed away at home. And, when you think about being in that type of environment, it's more to them it's more relaxing. There's not the pressure that they may feel under when they're in a hospital environment. Right. And you can be one-on-one with them and relate to their experience that they're going through, right?
That's right. It makes a big difference, especially when someone has been given that news by their physician that they're in the last days of their life. If they can go home, they're more comfortable there. They're more comfortable in their home setting, and they can relax, and their family can relax with them at home. Mm-hmm. There are definite needs that come into play, but that's a different topic.
Sure.
But what that patient usually does need is to go home, and that's where most people want to end their life is at home in their own bed, looking at their pictures. If you think about it, when you've been on a busy trip, you want to go home. When you truly want to rest, you go home.
Right. We're going to come back here in a few moments, ladies, and continue our conversation. We're talking with Gloria, Gina, and Amy this morning from Clay County Home Health and Hospice, and we're going to come back in a moment and continue more here on the Vine Morning Show on this Wednesday, so stay tuned. Right now it is time for Voice of the Martyrs this morning, and it's being underwritten by the Tin Shed in Wayne City. The Tin Shed in Wayne City invites you to celebrate Christmas in a small town holiday open house on Thursday, November 10th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m., Friday, November 11th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday, November 12th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Sunday, November 13th, 12 noon to 4 p.m. They will have decor that will warm your heart and add beauty and charm to your Christmas displays. The Tin Shed, 701 West Robinson in Wayne City, closed Wednesday, November 9th to prepare for the event. Their phone number, 618-895-2155.
Hi, I'm Todd Nettleton, and this is the Voice of the Martyrs Radio. The elderly North Korean woman trembled. Our teacher said we'd play a special game. We were to search for a special book that our parents might have hidden and bring it to the school for a surprise. 14 of us found a Bible and were awarded with a bright red scarf. I was so excited to run home and tell my mother, but she wasn't there. I never saw my parents again. Despite strong government opposition and the threat of death, many North Koreans continue to follow Christ, carefully sharing God's word with others. May we stand with these believers in prayer, asking God to make them aware of the schemes of the enemy.
I will not let my brothers and sisters suffer in silence, nor will I let them serve alone. To join me in prayer for persecuted Christians, go to vomradio.net.
More music and ministry for Flora, McLeansboro, and Benton.
90.9 The Vine.
To your love, and we are free through your cross. Your blood redefined us. We are the sons and daughters of God. Your grace runs deep from the moon to the moon to the sun. Love is one. Galaxies
Southern Illinois' home for the best Christian music and the biggest variety. It's local Christian radio, 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine. That's Chris Habermel and his song called Galaxies. It is 9:21, and it's a Vine Morning Show. Here we are on this Wednesday morning. Again, if you're listening on 105.5 or 90.9 The Vine, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching on our website this morning, WVYN.org, tuned in to our live in-studio camera, thanks for tuning in. As we have special guests in the studio from Clay County Home Health and Hospice, we have Gloria Hawkins, Gina Rinehart, and Amy Meeks. Again, ladies, good morning, and thanks for taking your time away from I know you guys are busy, to come in and tell us a little bit about the programs you offer at Clay County. And Gina, let's talk about us. You're the coordinator through the health department there, right?
Yes. Thank you, Mark. I'm grateful to be here this morning. I just wanted to share a little bit more about different services that Clay County Health Department offers. Also, some of these services are offered by Wayne County Health Department, and we have partnered with Wayne County throughout the years. This year, Clay County Health Department, we are celebrating our 50th anniversary. We have basically services from birth to death. Mm-hmm. We have immunizations, the WIC program, which is Women, Infant, Children, that is nutritional counseling, help for the moms and the babies, and they receive coupons for nutritional foods. And we also have a play groups with my mind. I'm getting nervous.
Sure. No problem.
We have visitors that go out for families at risk. They teach play. They teach parents to deal with stress and difficult times so that they're able to diffuse and be good parents. We also have environmental health, which they survey all the restaurants, make sure that they're up to par. They deal with new septic systems for homes. Then we have our home health and hospice programs. Home health, we take care of all ages that are coming home from the hospital and might need some assistance. And then hospice, we deal with end of life. We like to refer hospice patients before the very end of life. Sometimes we get their last week. It's nicer if we can be in there a little longer and give them more support than that.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned something, Gina, that's very important out there. WIC, Women, Infants, and Children. And, you know, a lot of young moms out there, you know, there may be a lot of young moms out there that's not familiar with this program and its availability to them. And that's why you're here. That's why you're in the community, to educate those moms on that program, right?
Yes. It's very beneficial for them. And many people think, oh, we make too much money, we wouldn't qualify for that. And that is just simply not true. The limits are much higher than people realize. I don't know exactly what those limits are without looking those up, but it is very beneficial for those families. So if anyone would have a question, they could call the Wayne County Health Department or the Clay County Health Department, and they could give them that information if they might qualify.
Yeah, because you guys work hand in hand, and that's the benefit too of working hand in hand with another department, right, Gloria?
That's right. It has been so nice to work with the Wayne County Health Department, and recently we set up an office space in there, so we're physically there 2 days a week, most weeks, and anytime you can work with another group of people, it benefits more people. And getting to know the staff at the Wayne County Health Department, seeing how hard they work, you know, has been encouraging to me. I knew Clay County was that way, but I just thought it was Clay County. And coming over to Wayne County and seeing how friendly and professional and caring they are with their staff, you know, it makes you feel really warm towards the people who care for their community. And I don't think that a lot of people that are just going to work every day realize what the health department does. I didn't. I still am learning all of the things that we do. But whenever I found out, when I came to work at the health department, all of the things that the health department does, I thought, my goodness, how many things have I missed out on I just thought you went to the health department to get your immunizations, and that was about the limit of it.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm learning there's so much more to it.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Gloria, because, and this is another question for Gina, too. People that love to go on missions trips and stuff, one thing you have to have when you go on a missions trip is an immunization. You have to be immunized depending on where you're going. And you guys offer that there at Clay County as well, because a lot of people think, well, I may not be able to get in my doctor, and, I'm leaving maybe 3 days from now. You don't have to have an appointment to come in to do that, right? Or can people just come in and ask for that?
Normally, we have a clinic day, but if you have a special trip that you're going on, they will work to get you in, and depending on where you go, they know what immunizations you will need. They have those guidelines, and they will take care of that, yes.
Yeah. Amy, you being through home health, and you're on the road a lot, right? You travel quite a bit.
Yes.
And, being a nurse is it's like a police officer. You're very demanded. You're in demand, Sometimes you could be called out in the middle of the night.
Yes.
That happens a lot, right?
Yes.
As a home health nurse, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. We are on call quite often. We are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We don't take holidays off. We do definitely want to answer questions for any patient. I said, if you wake up at 2 in the morning and you don't remember something about that question and it's weighing on your mind, grab a piece of paper, jot it down, or else pick up the phone and just call. We have an answering service that it will go to, and we will be notified that somebody needs something. We will return their call within 15 minutes. Get on the road if we need to, get into their home to see what's going on or what the patient may need. Maybe it's just looking something up for a patient. We don't mind at all. We are there 24/7.
No matter what the weather is, right, ladies?
Yes,
whether
that
bad
is
weather, because, and here's another thing, too. You're going to areas and homes where you have no clue how to possibly get there. So that's why a GPS comes in handy, right? Have you ever been let me ask you this, Amy, have you ever gone somewhere and you think, oh boy, I don't really know how to get there, or I'm going into a remote area?
Well, honestly, since I'm new to the health department, I'm new to GPS. I have my GPS in my vehicle, and I have my backup GPS on my phone. And it's really great until we're going along, and it tells me to turn in the middle of a bridge because I've arrived at my destination. But definitely, we've got phone numbers. We get a hold of the patient and say, hey, I'm probably right in your area. Very simple fixes. I have seen all kinds of things, trees over the road, and you have to make your little detours. But when you're in home health, you're going to the patient. The patient is not coming to your clinic. You're getting out there for the patients that necessarily have a very tasking time getting out. We want to get in there and get what we can get done, make sure that the patient, is able to get back to their quality of life.
Yeah. Gloria, hospice is so important for families nowadays, but there's so much besides being a nurse that hospice does as far as, you need people behind the scenes, right?
That's right. Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because hospice is a team approach, and we are obligated to follow the CMS guidelines, which are put out by Medicare. So even though we're just a tiny little hospice program set here, in Illinois, we still have to follow the big program. And the big picture is the CMS guidelines want you to communicate with your team about your patient because they know that's best. And we have a whole team from a provider, the actual provider who refers the patient, and then our medical director is a physician, and she collaborates to make sure that the patient has what she needs, or the patient needs. And then we have a pastoral care who will help with spiritual concerns. It's not to replace their own pastor or church affiliation, nothing like that. It's just in addition to, because he has a special ear and heart towards that patient that's passing and their family. The other part of the team is a social worker. They handle a lot of emotional concerns, a lot of legalities too. And then we have aides, hospice aides, that are just phenomenal. They go into the home twice a week, and they provide personal care. And we also have our nurses that go in anywhere. We are obligated to go in at least once a week. Most of the time, we go in 3 times a week, and it varies on how the patient and the family is doing. And that's, the whole family is what's important with hospice. It's not just the patient. So there comes a time sometimes in the beginning, sometimes in the end, where our focus is leaning towards the family. So yeah, there's a whole team approach, and then we have volunteers. They are phenomenal, and they will meet that patient and the family where they need help.
Yeah.
Maybe they will come and sit with the patient while you run some errands, or maybe they're going to buy some embroidery supplies or bring some embroidery supplies and sit and visit with you about what you're doing, or read. It just varies on the patient.
You know, you mentioned the aides and the volunteers. If it's not for them, hospice wouldn't be successful, would it?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because especially with the aides, I have a special heart towards the aides, because they see the patient sometimes more than we do.
Yeah.
And they see the toll that the disease may be taking on the patient, and the patient just usually feels so comfortable with them. So they make a big difference in that patient and the family's life, and the volunteers do as well. When, you know, we're actually obligated to have a volunteer program. So if anybody's ever interested in doing volunteer work, we're always accepting it. And let me tell you, you're going to get more back than what you give.
Yeah. And another thing too is there a big demand for hospice nurses? I know, you know, there's a demand for nurses in general, but when you break down being a nurse, maybe in a doctor's, nothing to take away from them at all whatsoever, but being a nurse in a doctor's office, in a hospital, is there a big demand for hospice nurses? Are you seeing more and more of an influx in patients now?
It varies.
It varies?
It varies a lot. But there is a big demand for hospice nurses, because it takes a long time to train a hospice nurse, because there's so many intricacies that can't really be taught. They have to be learned. And then also there is a high burnout rate, unfortunately, with hospice nurses, as you can understand. But at our job at the health department, we really try to look out for each other, and they're constantly trying to make the most of the nurse's situation and help us out as much as they can. Like with Gina, you know, she came one weekend and just helped me out, and that's how our team rolls.
Yeah.
We just help each other, and so hopefully we won't have as high of a burnout rate. But yes, there's absolutely a need for hospice nurses, and sometimes it's not going to be a long career for a hospice nurse, and that's fine.
Right.
As long as if you ever feel a calling to do it, you can do it for a time period, then step away and do something else for a while and come back to it.
You know, if someone was interested in becoming a nurse, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit, how they can become a hospice nurse through your agency and stuff. But you know, there's a lot of paperwork involved when you're a nurse and stuff like that. And when you're out in the field, do you have to go back to an office? But are you provided the computers? Are you able to do the work in the field? Is it transmitted in? You know, if there's someone out there that's got an idea of like, you know what, I may want to do that, but you know, what's the paperwork requirement compared to how it used to be when you write things down? Are you on a computer, or you still have to write things by hand?
As you can see, I'm kind of addicted to my computer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like an extension of my body. We do computer work based. Every situation is different, and I'm sure every hospice situation is different, hospice program. But for our hospice program, we ask that you take your computer with you, because it makes better patient care if we know what is going on in that home. Sometimes there's some resistance to taking computers in, because people feel like it may be cold.
Yeah.
But you know, the world has changed, and people understand that that's how we communicate. And so that resistance is fading away. But what my day looks like when I see a patient is I upload information. I've talked to the nurse who was on call the night before, find out if anything has changed with my patient. And then whenever I'm going to see them, I have my computer loaded with any information I need to make sure I can provide great care. And while I'm in the home, sometimes I chart on the patient while I'm in the home. It really depends on the situation. Most of the time I do. Sometimes I will take it and drive down the road and do some charting. You can see a lot of nurses sitting along roadsides with their fingers. They look like dinosaurs, you know. But then sometimes you still have to go back to the office and do some cleanup work and call physicians. It's just nursing is all about managing a lot of tasks at once, and you know that because you're married to a nurse, and have nurses in the family.
You know, and the thing is, you do work under a supervisor, but it's kind of nice to be out there in the field, and you're like your own boss in a way. You're working at your own pace, and but you do put in long nights. As Amy mentioned, you may get a call at 2:00 in the morning and sound asleep, and you got to get up and you got to go, and it may take you an hour, it may take you 30 minutes, but it depends on a lot of, like you said, the situation, right?
Right, and where hospice is just a tiny bit different than home health with the 24 hours, 7-day-a-week call. When I admit a patient, I tell them, if you wonder if you should call, you call. Because hospice is not just about the physical well-being of the patient, it's about the emotional well-being of the patient and their family member. And we tell them that they're an extension of our family now.
Sure.
And would we want our family member to wait till 8:00 in the morning to call us if a particular thing was going on? You know, so many people think they've got to wait till things are really bad before they call a doctor or a nurse. And we want them to understand with hospice, it's just us on the other end, and we really want them to call.
Sure, yeah, it's awesome. We're talking with Gloria Hawkins this morning, Gina Rinehart and Amy Meeks with Clay County Home Health and Hospice. And ladies, we'll come back and continue our conversation here in just a few moments right here on The Vine. We encourage you to stay tuned. Right now, it's time for Hope Out Loud with a member of the Barrick family this morning. And it's underwritten by Monroe Accounting in McLeansboro. Real Life Radio Foundation is blessed by the generosity of Monroe Accounting in McLeansboro. They specialize in a full line of accounting services for businesses, individuals, and farms, including tax preparation, payroll preparation, quarterly sales taxes, and more. Their office is located at 102 East Market Street in downtown McLeansboro with experience and knowledge to serve your needs. Their phone number is 643-3993. Monroe Accounting in McLeansboro, a proud supporter of 90.9 and 105.5 The Vine.
Linda Barrick with today's Hope Out Loud.
When we're going through a difficult time, the world often tells us that we have to be strong and put on a happy face. But the Bible tells us a different story. Romans 12:15 says, "To weep with those who weep." Mourning is healthy. It's an important part of grieving and healing. But the beauty of God's plan is that we're never meant to mourn alone. He gives us a family of believers, and He gives us His Spirit inside us. So go ahead, let it all out, and know that Jesus is weeping with you, holding you in His everlasting arms. Dear Jesus, thank you that we never have to be alone.
Amen. Discover true joy in Linda's new Bible study in Philippians called Total Bliss. Learn more at hopeoutloud.com.
A positive impact on your workday.
You keep it up at work, and you guys have really reached such a huge crowd.
And the people you work with.
I've been blessed to minister to my coworkers.
90.9 The Vine, and now in Centralia at 105.5. Work with it.
Mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, telling those lies, pointing out your flaws. That isn't who you are. That isn't who you are. It might be hard to hear, but let me tell you, dear, if you could see what I could see, I know you would believe that isn't who you are. There's more to who you are. So when it's late, you're wide awake, too much to take. Don't shift and forget that in the pain you can be brave, you will say. I see you dressed in white, every wrong made right. I see a rose in bloom at the sight of you. Oh, so priceless, irreplaceable, unmistakable, incomparable, darling, it's beautiful. I see it all in you. Oh, so priceless. No matter what you've heard, this is what you're worth. More than all the money or the diamonds and pearls. Oh, this is who you are. Yeah, this is who you are. So when it's late, you're wide awake, too much to take. Don't shift and forget that in the pain you can be brave, you will say. I see you dressed in white, every wrong made right. I see a rose in bloom
Music and ministry that helps you connect with God. It is local Christian radio, 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine. That is from For King and Country and their song called Priceless, and that's from their movie as well. It stars one of the Smallbone brothers in their movie. If you've not seen that movie yet, check that out. Hey, welcome back. It's the Vine Morning Show. Here we are on this Wednesday morning. I'm Mark, along with Gloria, Gina, and Amy. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Time is moving right along here this morning, and we're talking with the ladies about Clay County Home Health and Hospice. And Amy, I'll start with you now. We're just kind of bouncing back and forth here. Home health. What counties does Clay County cover with home health?
Clay County Home Health serves Clay, Effingham, Jasper, Marion, Richland, and Wayne counties. Our hospice serves the same counties with the exception, or rather the addition, of Edwards County.
Mm-hmm. You know, if some people want to know, well, okay, if I don't live in Clay County or I live close to the county, you know, and you work well with Wayne County, and they are in need of hospice or may think down the road they may be, do they have to live in the county where home health is based out of, or hospice?
That's a really good question, Mark. Typically, if they are going to be in a residence in that county, I would see no reason why we couldn't go in, but it's always a good thing to call and see if it's close to someone else's that would be easier for them to get to. We want to do what's best for the patient.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sense in us sending a nurse 2 hours away if there is another agency close by that we can benefit their needs better. Definitely call. We don't care to go in and assess and see what's best for the patient.
Mm-hmm.
And the patients also have the right to request. Say that they go to their doctor and the doctor tells them, I would like for you to go on hospice or home health. They may request the agency that they would like to have.
So let me ask you guys this question here, and I'll get to your question here in a moment too. I've got a question for you too, Gloria, but say, for instance, if you have dealt with a family member, and do they go on referrals for nurses? Say for instance, Amy, you've treated a patient of one family member, and they liked how you've treated them. Can they call in to hospice and say, hey, I want Amy to come and take care of my husband, my wife, because she did well for my friend's husband or wife, or whatever family member?
Yes, definitely. If a family is very established with a certain nurse, we will try anything we can do to keep that family established. We want them to feel comfortable in their home. We want them to feel like, very good rapport with the agencies that we are looking into. We want them to feel a sense of being that they're getting their needs tended to the way that they want to, because it is their home, their health care.
Sure. What services are provided in hospice, Gloria?
I want to go ahead and make another point about what you were saying
absolutely.
about
Yeah,
the
I'm
nurse.
jumping the gun here.
Oh, no, that's great. I just want to make sure. There are
Sure.
sometimes differences between the hospice and home health, and since hospice is so much more entailed, the nurse does spend usually a little bit more time with the patient. We can absolutely try to make sure they have the same nurse that they want, but that nurse may not always be their nurse. But we make every effort to accommodate their needs. And then, like Amy said, the whole purpose is to make sure the patient is comfortable with whoever comes into their home. We take that very seriously.
Sure.
Some of the services provided with hospice are, first of all, I want to let you know they are actually covered. They're covered through Medicare. They're covered through insurances. With the health department, most of the time our patients never see a bill. And if they ever do receive a bill for hospice services, and they cannot afford it in any way, they can just let us know, and we will help them through that time.
Sure.
We definitely don't want to add to their burden.
Right.
But with the services that are provided, we definitely provide medication to help handle their pain and their symptoms. Sometimes it's not medication. Sometimes it's the hospital bed or the low air loss mattress or oxygen. Whatever is needed. We are looking for different types of pillows to help bring comfort to a patient. We get to do a lot of unusual things with hospice, the things that the nurses on the hospital floor can't always do, we get to look at those things, especially like, well, maybe they need a special cushion, or maybe they need a different wheelchair with different pedals. Those are the things that thankfully we get to spend a lot of time looking at and making sure they have their needs met. Since our time is limited, we want it to be very, very good time. And another thing that we do is, like I mentioned earlier, we provide psychosocial intervention with social work, with the nursing. The nursing is trained to help with psychosocial needs. And also we help coach the family on what's happening with their patient, and also what they need to do to take care of that patient. Not that we're going to abandon them, but when we're not there, we need them to feel comfortable doing what they need to do. And we don't stop until they do. We're going to step up and be there at all times, but especially we have to train them to be able to care for their patient when we're not around. And I've seen a lot of beautiful stories in whenever the family comes up to the plate and helps that patient out. There's something that takes place in that heart and that mind between the patient and the caregiver that money can't buy.
Sure. And something else a lot of families may wonder, if they're in a situation where their loved one is sick and requires hospice, when's a good time to call and place that call, saying, that's one thing they don't want to look at, but there may come a time that they're going to need hospice to step in. When's a good time to call?
This is a great time, right now,
to
start opening your mind to hospice, even if you don't have a loved one who is terminally ill, just to become aware of what hospice is. Hospice is a program that's about compassion and about caring and about keeping somebody comfortable. It's not curative. And so just education is so important at any stage in your life, to start to realize when my loved one or I become terminally ill, then I'm going to need to choose hospice, and to start to understand what hospice is and how we can help you and your family through that time, because what's going to happen is happening. We're not changing the outcome of your life. All we're doing is helping you to be able to handle the tough time, that really fragile time that you're in. We try to help you through that time. And so the sooner the better. But in a practical sense, if a person, say they know they're in really bad shape, but their doctor hasn't had that conversation with them yet, they can bring it up to their physician, or they can even call us and ask us, would you look into our records? I've had many people do that.
Really?
And that's kind of a backdoor approach, but then we can call the doctor and talk to the doctor about it, or if you talk to your doctor, the doctor can call us and refer us to you, and then we can do a consultation with you. We don't go out trying to find hospice patients, but we sure do want to take care of them, and we find that they say, we really wish we would have called sooner. A lot of people are resistant to it because obviously they have a mindset about what hospice is. But if they could start educating themselves sooner rather than later, they wouldn't be so afraid of it.
Right. That's great. That's a good point. Okay, guys, we're going to come back here in a moment, ladies, and we're going to have to wrap it up, unfortunately. But we'll come back and give the contact information on how, someone needs hospice or home health, how to get a hold of you guys, all right? We'll do that when we come back here in just a few moments on the Vine Morning Show as we wrap things up this morning, right here with Gina, Amy, and Gloria this morning on the Vine. We'll come back and do that here in a moment. Right now it's time for Laura Greathouse and Keeping Watch, and it's underwritten this morning by Taylor Flooring. They're located in Mount Vernon.
Real Life Radio is grateful for the underwriting support of Taylor Flooring in Mount Vernon. Located at 328 Main Street in Mount Vernon, Taylor Flooring specializes in the sales, service, and installation of top brands such as Mohawk, Southwind, and LW Mountain. 100% locally owned and operated by Mark and Sherry Taylor, Taylor Flooring in Mount Vernon has your flooring needs covered. Their phone number is 315-6004. He who has an ear to hear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. This is Keeping Watch with Laura Greathouse.
A true friend will stick up for you at all times, especially the hard times. And you will know who is your real friend when you're going through something very difficult. And it's the same with God. He is finding out right now, through all of these terrible times, the ones who are truly His friends. Who is standing up for God right now at this second? Who is speaking up unashamed for Jesus Christ, the Son of God? While the world is out of control, catastrophic events are happening fast. Christian values are sinking. We are seeing insane laws all over the world. Christians are dying for their faith. Evil is gaining ground every day. The Bible says, if we stay faithful to the end, we will share in all that belongs to Christ. And the Bible also says, the road is narrow that leads to life, and few will find it. Will you be one that will be faithful and endure to the end? Just know, the safest place we can live in is truly the will of God. We must stay friends of God till the very end.
This has been Keeping Watch with Laura Greathouse. Heard twice daily on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine.
Thank you, Laura. As we're going to be wrapping it up with the ladies here in just a few moments. You know, we got some more. We could actually keep going probably for another couple hours because I know there's questions out there that people may have. But Gloria, let me ask you this. You know, if someone's already been on hospice or home health even, Gina, can they go back again? I mean, you know, if something happened, they get well, you know, and that happens a lot with people. But can they go back and receive the service over again?
Absolutely. That's a great question. We've had many stories that go along with that where somebody has opted to get out of hospice because they wanted to pursue a life-sustaining treatment, such as to start receiving blood products, or something would come up where they heard about a new treatment, a chemo treatment or something like that, and they wanted to take that chance. Absolutely. We want them to do whatever they need to do to make themselves know they've done everything they can for their life. But if that doesn't work out and they realize that that treatment is not going to work or they get worse, then we are absolutely ready to take them back, arms open wide.
Yeah, that's great. And Gina, let me ask you, you've been with Clay County Health Department how many years again?
25 and a half.
25 and a half years. And what have you seen changed in that last 25 years that's really important now to the health department than what it was, say, 10 years ago?
A lot of paperwork changes with the government, more documentation required, but we don't let that hinder us. We still go out, spend the time with the patients, give good care, and make sure that the patient's taken care of. We worry about our documentation later. We still do it, but also in home health, the patients are able to be on home health and then be off and back on again if they have new problems or recurring problems. So that's never an issue. They are always welcome back.
Welcome back on either way, right?
Yes.
That's right.
And I'll ask you, Gloria, and I'll ask you, Amy, you guys are new to the nursing field of hospice. And if there's nurses out there and you're going to school right now and you're torn between, I don't know if I want to go work in a hospital, I don't know what to do yet, and they're looking at maybe going to what you guys are doing, what do you tell them? Amy, we'll start with you first.
I would definitely say let the Lord lead the way.
Amen.
If you feel drawn, pray, do your studies, definitely research. There is just a world of difference between the hospital setting, home health, hospice, long-term care. There's just an array of different types of nursing that you can go into. Definitely do your research. See if you can do some clinicals in each setting. See if you can follow somebody. Talk to people. Mentors are great. I find that if the nurses that have been nurses for a long time have not usually stayed in one setting. Typically, every so many years, a nurse will change. Definitely do your research. But
Gloria, what about you? I mean,
always let the Lord lead the way.
Sure,
That's
amen,
for sure.
amen.
But I would highly recommend that you get a little bit of hospital-based experience. Get in there. That's boot camp for a nurse.
sure.
So I think that's a good place to start. You just learn so many things there. And then you wouldn't be afraid of whatever you need to face.
Sure.
And then, you know, like I said, hospice was my calling. And so that's what drew me back to nursing school. And you should always follow your heart.
And I think it takes, and I'm going to say this, I think it takes a special person to have the compassion to be a hospice nurse because, you know, in a hospital setting, it's different than what you're going into their home. And you don't know what to expect when you go into their home. and you don't know what kind of demeanor they're going to be in when you go to the home. So, you got to have certain compassion. Don't you guys agree with that?
Yes,
Definitely.
I'd like to give a little plug to Gloria here.
Yeah.
In my hospice experience, she was my mentor, and it can be very fulfilling. I would like to encourage other nurses to not be afraid of hospice. If you have a good mentor, hospice can be very fulfilling and not what you think on the surface. You are making a huge difference in patients' lives, in their families' lives, and a positive difference. Even though you're dealing with the death process, you give them dignity, peace, and comfort in their passing.
Wow, that's awesome. I like that.
Well said.
Yeah, that's well said. All right, if someone's in need of home health and hospice in Clay County, wherever, how can they get a hold of you ladies?
They can call the Clay County Health Department, and the number is 618-662-4406, and we'll put this banner of our business card on your website, but they can just look up Clay County Health Department and give us a call, and we'll get you pointed in the right direction.
And you're both based out of the same. Now, is the location where the old hospital used to be in Flora, or where's that at in Flora?
We are in the old Cumberland Trail Library building on 12th Street.
On 12th,
next to WNOI in Flora.
All right, so very easy to find. What's the hours of the health department, Gina?
We are open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, but as Amy mentioned earlier, holidays and weekends we have an answering service, and they contact the hospice and home health nurses.
So take advantage of this. And again, if you have any questions whatsoever, I think a lot of people are maybe not aware of the Gina, of the services you guys provide up there.
That is correct.
Just call and ask questions. There's nothing wrong. There's no wrong answer, right?
That's true. And we receive a lot of calls. We try to answer anything, even if it's just a phone number for another place. You wouldn't believe the calls we get at the health department. We try to help all those people out.
Let me ask you real quick here. Young mothers, poison control's a big thing. Do you get a lot of calls on, okay, my child has swallowed this or that? Can you answer them?
We have, and we direct those normally to the public health nurses because they're dealing with the children more than we are, and they help them out. If it's something that they're not familiar with, they get a call into the poison control hotline and help them in that way. Again, take advantage of these services. That's what they're for, right, ladies? Yes,
they're
definitely.
for your family. Yes. Take advantage of them.
They're for the entire community.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, again, give them a call. Their phone number is 618-662-4406 or toll free 800-544-4406. And remember, they provide nursing, nurse aide, physical, speech, occupational therapy. And here's another important thing. If someone's had a stroke and they need to learn how to talk again or have to build their vocabulary up, that's what this program is for, right? Call
definitely.
You guys.
Yes, give us a call. We also have a website.
Yeah, what's that?
healthdept.org.
So just go there for any and all information, right?
Yes.
But again, if you read something on the website and you still have you're still in maybe a state of confusion, a phone call away, right, ladies?
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming in, ladies, and come back sometime. And thanks for coming in and sharing the what you have to offer through Clay County Health Department, Home Health, and Hospice.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Gina. And thank you, Gloria, for coming in. All right. And God bless your work that you do. I know it's special angels that you guys are. All right. Don't get me teared up here. All right. All right. Hey, we want to thank the ladies for coming in this morning. And thanks for coming in, ladies. It's appreciated. Beautiful day in southern Illinois today. Clear skies with a high of 60 and clear tomorrow, high 64. Jenny Lee is next with the overflow, and Jimmy will have the afternoon matinee. Then Brian with Soul Shine on a Wednesday. Don't forget Rig Ministries tonight. And 8 o'clock right here on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine. Then Brian, he'll have Soul Shine, or he'll have Wednesday Night Vinyl tonight at 9 right here on The Vine. Have a great day, everyone. Always remember to read Scripture daily and stay focused on God and His Word.